And I think there's a great danger to the world, not only to my country, but to the United States, to the Middle East, to peace, to all of humanity, from the prospect that such a regime that brutalizes its own people, that sponsors terrorism more than any other regime in the world, that this regime acquires atomic bombs is very, very dangerous.
U.S. officials estimate that Iran, perhaps within 2 years, will have a nuclear warhead. It can put on a ballistic missile that can strike Israel, Europe, much of the world. Do you have a deadline in your own mind for how long you're willing to let diplomacy play out?
There's only been one time that Iran actually stopped the program, and that was when it feared U.S. military action. So when the president says that he's determined to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons and that all options are on the table, I think that's the right statement of policy. You ask, what is our policy? Our policy is very simple. The Jewish state was set up to defend Jewish lives, and we always reserve the right to defend ourselves.
Do you have a deadline in your mind for how long you're willing to let diplomacy play out?
Well, I think that we always reserve the right to defend ourselves.
Do you believe that a nuclear Iran, can be contained?
No. No, I don't. I think that's a mistake. And I think people fall into a misconception.
So it must be stopped.
You can't rely on the fact that they'll obey the calculations of cost and benefit that have governed all nuclear powers since the rise of the nuclear age. After Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we've had effective nuclear peace for more than half a century because everybody understood the rules. I don't think you can rely on Iran. I don't think you can rely on other radicals like the Taliban. They dispatched Al-Qaeda to bomb New York and Washington. What were they thinking? Were they that stupid? They weren't stupid. There's an irrationality there. And there's madness in this method. And we should not allow irrational regimes like Iran to have nuclear weapons. It's the ultimate terrorist threat today.
I just want to follow your argument. You say that Panetta is probably right, that sanctions won't work. Mm-hmm. You say flatly that containing a nuclear Iran is impossible. Have you and the president ever discussed the possibility of a military strike?
I'm not going to get into confidential discussions, and I'm not confirming anything of the sort, but I am saying that the president's position that all options are on the table might actually have the only real effect on Iran if they think it's true.
This week you relaxed restrictions on the goods that you're allowing to go into Gaza. But do you believe that Israel did anything wrong while it was intercepting that ship on May 31st and 9 people were killed? Do you believe that there was an excessive use of force?
First of all, I think we regret the loss of lives. But I talked to the soldiers. I visited the wounded soldiers. I visited them in the hospital. One of them was shot. These activists, these Turkish radicals, clubbed him, knifed them, took one of their weapons, fired at them. They were shot. And unfortunately, people were killed, but they acted in self-defense. Your Coast Guard would do the same? Would you feel that they did a terrible thing if they defended their lives?
No excessive force.
Certainly force that was used to defend their lives. And they acted in self-defense as I heard it directly from them. But I think we have a credible investigation. In Israel's case, it's a real investigation, a real impartial, professional investigation will come out. All these facts will come out.
And will you enforce the blockade against any other ships that try to test it?
We are enforcing a security blockade in order to prevent weapons and war material from getting into Gaza. I've lifted all the civilian, any civilian goods can enter. I've lifted the civilian blockade. Right. So anything can come in, food, medicine, toys, you name it, it can all go freely into Gaza. My policy is simple: weapons out, everything else in.
Finally, you have been dealing with American presidents for the better part of 30 years almost. How do you compare Barack Obama to the others?
I don't compare people. This is something you leave for biographies, but I can tell you there's a consistent line in all U.S. presidents, from everyone that I met, including President Obama, share what the president called the basic bedrock of this unbreakable bond between Israel and the United States. Israeli prime ministers are also different. Each one of us is different. But we all value the relationship with the United States enormously. Enormously. I think America has no better friend and ally than Israel in the world, and I'm sure that Israel has no better friend and ally than the United States.
Can you honestly say that Barack Obama supports Israel and understands the threats you face the same way that Reagan and Clinton and the two Bushes did? I
can tell you that we had a conversation in this meeting in Washington the other day, and a good chunk of it, I'd say about half of it, was devoted to a detailed discussion of Israel's security problems. The problem that when we vacate territory, Iran and its proxy terrorists walk in with rockets. And I explained it in great detail, and I found the president understanding. I found him, he considered this problem. He understands that we need to have a solution for it, and I intend to work with him, and I hope with President Abbas, to find a solution so that we can couple security with peace, because that's the only peace that will endure, a peace based on security. I'm prepared to go down this route. I know the president is willing to assist us in this, but I need a partner on the other side. You know, you can't be a trapeze artist that wants to connect with the other guy and there's no one there. I need a Palestinian partner, and President Abbas, I don't know if you can go from trapeze artist to step up to the plate. He's got to step up to the plate.
Prime Minister Netanyahu, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you, Chris.
Always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
You can watch more of my interview with Netanyahu at FoxNewsSunday.com. In a web exclusive, he discusses whether disagreements with the U.S. earlier this year endangered the relationship.